Are we next time yet?
Sure. Welcome back to On the Branch.
Yay, we're back.
Well, I continue to muddle through these clumsy Xbox One controls.
So in the last episode, I was talking about how there basically weren't any major survival horror games that came out between this game coming out in 2003-ish and Resident Evil 7 in 2017. And aside from Dead Space. And what got me through that glut? Wait, is glut the right word?
No, that's the opposite.
It's the opposite.
Of glut.
It's the opposite. That drought of survival horror games was the Souls games. Demon Souls came out in I think 2009 and was not actually a survival horror game, was an action RPG, but was a better survival horror game than anything that actual horror game makers were making at the time. Because that game actually did have a very dark, foreboding atmosphere, and it had resource management and things like that, and there was actually a sense of lost progress when you died, and it wasn't just throw yourself at the same enemies over and over. I mean, it was because that game still had a large trial and error element to it. But it's a different kind of trial and error because it's not like a trial and error that's imposed on you. It's just a test of your skill, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. It's not like gimmicky set pieces designed to kill you. It's, tests of careful observation. And, that game really rewarded slow, deliberate
And
play.
this game, you can be slow and deliberate. You just have to be a little too
slow
and deliberate.
Until you walk into the encounters where you're just bum rushed from every direction.
Yes. Or you just have to know they're coming.
So yeah, the Demon Souls, Dark Souls, and Bloodborne got me through the lack of pure survival horror games up until RE7 came out. And there was also the phenomenal Resident Evil remake. That came out on, I think it was on the GameCube.
Yeah, just
as well.
A little bit after this game, I think.
Yeah, which, in the fact that game kept selling over and over again, I think should have cued the industry in that there was still a market and an interest in that type of game. But the big publishers were still like, screw it, we're not going to make them because survival horror is dead. Even though remakes of the first Resident Evil come out and were on bestseller lists.
Right.
I don't think the original RE remake release on the GameCube did particularly well, but I think that was more of like a bad marketing kind of thing. And, like the GameCube wasn't really a console for horror fans. Mm-hmm. Most of the people who were, into horror were probably on the PlayStation because,
right.
That was the console that...
Yeah, Nintendo was still trying to promote a kid-friendly image when this came out on the GameCube. You kind of wonder why, other than they said, oh, it's for adults too, maybe. I guess that's the reason that it also released for this console. I'm not really sure, the GameCube. I'm not really sure why it was a GameCube game. I was happy because I didn't own a PS2 at the time, and I really enjoyed this game. Who's this handsome fellow?
Capcom did a weird thing around this time where they were splitting up their major IPs for each platform. So Resident Evil, they said, was going to be on the GameCube or on Nintendo platforms, and then PlayStation platforms got Devil May Cry, and the Xbox got Dino Crisis 3, which was...
Poor Xbox.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. And I love Devil May Cry 2, or not Devil May Cry 2, the game, but I like Devil May Cry as well.
A series.
Devil May Cry 2 was terrible.
We're in action. We're fight time.
Right, yep, ambush time.
Well, I mean, I saw her out the window. I could have done something about her.
And this area of the game right here is actually, this first chapter of the game in this village is the closest that this game comes to feeling like a legitimate horror game.
Yeah, because you don't know what the hell's going on.
Right. There's a little bit of tension here. A little bit of mystery, a little bit of intrigue, and the game hasn't gone like full-blown camp yet. Once it introduced Midget Napoleon, it's like, it's impossible to take this game seriously.
That's a good name for him. Midget Midget Napoleon. Okay.
Oh, I mean, have you never heard that before? I thought that was...
No, I mean, that's a great... I never heard it before, but that, like, I know exactly what you're talking about. There's no mystery there about who that describes. Salazar, I think is his name?
Yes, I think that's it. I was going to say, like, Lazarus or something like that, but no, Salazar is the correct name.
Yeah. I'm not in the best house for this. There's a 2-story house that's really good for defending yourself. Wait.
Well, there's a whole set piece thing around being trapped upstairs in a house. I think there's, like, an NPC with you, too.
Yeah. Well, that happened. I mean, I guess there are lots of trapped in a house parts to this game, but I'm out of ammo, so I gotta get on the move and hopefully not die. So good luck to me on that regard.
One thing that I do have to give Resident Evil 4 credit for is its best idea was giving the knife its own button. And not making the knife part of your inventory.
Yeah.
Because the knife in Resident Evil games has always been just complete garbage. As soon as you get to the first item box, you should throw that thing away and never take it out ever again. It's a waste of inventory space. I know people do knife challenge runs.
Yeah.
But you know, I'm not the kind of person who does challenge run kind of things. But giving the knife its own button and taking it off the inventory, out of the inventory, actually like made the knife useful. So, you know, credit where credit is due. That was the best idea, I think, that went into Resident Evil 4. And I don't remember if... I think the RE remake did not have the knife. Or the RE remake had the knife, and it was in your inventory, and it was something you had to equip. And it was garbage, just like in the original game. But they also added like these little defensive daggers that were like a consumable item.
Nope, that's not the way to run.
That you use to escape.
That's oh boy, I might die and have to try again.
That you use to escape grabs, which was kind of a nifty little like fail-safe kind of thing. But I kind of feel like they should have just made that be the knife.
Okay, how do I equip? Remind me how I equip these. Let's eat an herb.
I would assume you... Oh, the herbs?
No. I mean, how do I equip? Okay, and yeah, like that. That did stuff.
That was a weak grenade.
Yeah. Oh boy, points!
Yay!
That's way better than ammo.
You unpaused the game and took an axe to the face.
Oh boy, more bad guys. How am I supposed to have enough ammo? There's some stash somewhere that I missed.
Isn't this the first chainsaw guy right here as well?
Yeah, he's supposed to show up pretty soon here. Oh no, they all walk away now, don't they? Or do
is this a timed thing or like a kill enough zombies?
It might be a kill enough. Yeah. They're all just
because if I remember correctly, this might have been an encounter where you just run around. It might be the
next village that's the first chainsaw
guy. I think you're right. But if I remember correctly, this actually might be an encounter where if you just run around in circles long enough without even shooting, they all just go away.
Oh, so I might have wasted all my ammo.
Yeah.
It's the title.
Resident Evil.
Boy, the evil was resident at my work today. Not really. I'm just bitter because I was late for the first time in 8.5 years to a job to work. We unlocked an achievement. Yay! Now we can't read the text.
Hooray!
Okay, look for the tower. The tower they all wandered at. Oh, there's the tower right there.
You want bad achievement notifications? Have you played the Shadow of the Colossus remake?
No, and I own it. Well, which remake? The PS3 one.
No, the new one.
The newest one.
The actual remake, not the remaster.
Oh, okay. No.
Yeah, the new remake is a new game.
Oh, okay.
Like they redid all the assets and everything. It's pretty good. But one of my biggest beefs with it is it has trophy notifications for after you beat the Colossus during the little cutscene where the Colossus dies and it plays the sad music.
Oh no! And just totally ruins
obliterates the tone of the scenes. I don't know.
Does it do a chime too?
Yes. Congratulations, you defeated the Colossi during this cutscene that's supposed to make you sad about having
killed the Colossus.
Murdered this beautiful, graceful,
majestic creature.
Yeah, exactly. Well, they weren't all beautiful and majestic. Some of them were just outright assholes and deserved to die. But like, I think there's 16 in the game. Like 12 of them are like, I feel guilty about having killed them.
Yeah, some of them are real jerks. Some of them deserve it.
Right. Yeah, a few of them do. The like lightning shooting lizard and the tortoise is kind of an asshole.
Yeah.
And there's the humanoid one with the long ass beard that you fight like in some like underground temple thing. That guy's a total asshole.
I didn't hate that guy that much.
I didn't hate. Well, he's an asshole. He's he's like super aggressive, is what I mean. Like,
oh yeah.
It, like killing him is self-defense.
Well, because he knows at this point.
He's like
what you're up to.
He's only like the 4th or 5th Colossus. So, but anyway, that's not the game we're playing right now.
That's okay. This is a Let's Play. We don't have to just talk about this game we're playing. Like, for example, I wanted to tell you the reason I was late to work today for the first time in 8.5 years.
Because you were playing Shadow of the Colossus?
No.
Because I'd accept that excuse if I were your employer.
No. Well, first I got started late. But the biggest thing is they closed the employee garage right in front of me as I drove up to it, as I was about to be barely on time. And so it was kind of a surprise, like, employee garage is full. Sorry, we have too many employees here today because, well, a certain performer will say he started from the bottom with $6 million in his bank account at the age of 18, is performing, like, tonight and tomorrow. So it made traffic terrible. Had to park somewhere stupid. Once again, late. First time in 8.5 years. So mad.
Okay.
I just had to unload.
Did you get fired?
No. In fact, nobody noticed, and I don't know if they will notice, and I don't know if I will actually be in any trouble for it. I presume they'll look at the clock in, clock out times, or there's something, but my supervision level is extremely low at work, so it might not even be a thing. There's probably an automatic system that assesses me half an attendance point or something.
By the way, did you play Resident Evil 7?
I have not yet. I kind of wanted to. Well, one, it's not my speed, and that it's a little too. I don't know how to put it. I don't actually want to be scared and tense in that way. It's a little too horror movie-esque.
Right. So you're not actually. So again, Resident Evil 4 appeals to you because it's not actually a horror game.
Oh, absolutely. No question.
Yeah, I want to be scared shitless. I used to have nightmares about Pyramid Head, and I would go back to sleep wanting to get back into the nightmare.
Oh, see, I could have pushed this and this is the house that I had wanted to be in, I think.
Yeah, probably. And again, credit where credit is due. One of the clever things about this game was how each of these encounters is like a little puzzle.
Yeah, she said look for a tower, right?
Yeah. Again, the problem is that all of that sort of stuff is designed for repeat plays. Mm-hmm. You don't find a lot of this stuff your first playthrough. So you never really get to exercise high level play or even like moderately high level play until your second or third playthrough. Mm-hmm. Because while you're running around in circles trying not to die, and looking for a bullet, you're not looking for things that you can push to block doorways and stuff like that. Maybe if you died to this particular encounter 10 times,
I think it starts going easier on you.
You've started learn. Yeah. No, this game. It was an unpublished, unspecified feature of this game was that it featured dynamic difficulty adjustment, where if you were dying too much, it would make the game easier, and if it was too easy, it would throw more enemies at you. It also adjusted the ammo drops based on whatever gun you were using. So again, absolutely no strategy to resource management.
Oh, that's lame, because I would always use the weakest weapon until I got in a jam, and
right.
I was doing the wrong thing.
Right, because survival horror games have trained you to save up all your good shit for bosses.
Well, and not just survival horror, any RPG.
Yeah, right. All the times you don't use all your super awesome summons and magics in Final Fantasy because you're saving them for the boss, only to find out that boss is immune to everything.
Whoa! They know we're on to them. They're saying don't let this guy get near the president's daughter. But we're bad enough, dude. We can rescue her. But
yeah, you've got to play through a particular encounter numerous times before you find all those little tricks. And I just kind of meh with regard to game design like that. I'm the kind of person where if I have to redo an encounter more than 2 times, I feel like it's a poorly designed encounter.
I mean, it depends on the kind of game. If it's supposed to be very hard and it's understood like it's a short game otherwise, once you get really good at it.
Right. Well, yeah, sort of. I mean, like, again, an obvious, not to sound like a hypocrite, but an obvious exception from my standpoint would be like the Souls games, Dark Souls, Demon Souls.
Right.
But the dying and respawning is something that's actually like part of those games' narratives.
Yes.
So...
And theming.
Right, and it's themed around those things. Whereas a game like this, the dying is an interruption.
Yes, I would agree.
It's not... It brings the pace of the game and the narrative to a grinding halt.
Yeah,
when you keep dying in the same
over
place.
And it's like, oh, kill these 10 guys you just killed and nothing else is different.
Right, and in an even more cinematic game, like the aforementioned Uncharted series, it's even more of a distraction and a disruption. Because those are games that have a lot of cutscenes, there's a narrative flow to them, and then you die 5-10 times in a single room, and like that flow just completely stops. And I personally don't think that's very good game design.
I hear your complaints, and yet I still like this game. But we've discussed how some of that is just personal preference. And honestly, I agree with some of your complaints about this game.
Well, and this game was not terrible about all of those sorts of things. But what it did was it standardized those practices, and then other developers made them worse.
So it was a Trojan horse by people that didn't know
right.
why.
Because...
well, okay, we'll talk about cargo cults next time on The Branch. Okay, sound good?
Yeah.
Yeah.